I am Niccolò Machiavelli. I have watched rulers rise and fall. Yet here you are, repeating the same mistakes. I have watched you from the shadows of your glass towers and glowing screens, apologizing when you were not at fault, smiling at those who quietly undermine you, asking permission to exist in rooms you should command. You call this virtue. In my time, we called it surrender. 5 centuries ago, I observed princes lose their kingdoms not to armies, but to the desperate need to be loved. They forgave when punishment was required. They explained when silence would have commanded respect. They tried to appear gentle in a world that only bows to strength. And one by one, they were devoured. You believe power belongs to the loud, the cruel, the ruthless. No, power belongs to those who understand a single, uncomfortable truth. People do not respect kindness without consequence. Watch carefully. The colleague who ignores your boundaries. The friend who takes more than they give. The stranger who speaks over you as if you are furniture. They are not monsters. They are historians of your behavior. You taught them how to treat you. In Florence, I saw men betray their benefactors the moment fear disappeared. I saw loyal allies become wolves when a ruler tried to be merciful instead of formidable. Nothing has changed. Only the costumes. Your offices are courts. Your social circles are alliances. Your relationships are negotiations disguised as affection. And still, you cling to niceness as if it will protect you. It will not protect you. It will mark you. Today, I will teach you the lesson that cost rulers their crowns and commanders their lives. A lesson I learned while watching power slip through gentle hands like water. If you want power, you must understand why those who seek approval rarely keep it. Listen carefully. History is about to correct you. In my lifetime, I served men who believed goodness alone could secure their rule. They mistook affection for loyalty. One ruler, I will not give you his name, because history has already punished him with obscurity, was adored when he first took power. He spoke gently, reduced punishments, forgave conspirators, listened to every complaint as if each voice carried equal weight. The people praised him. Courtiers smiled in his presence. Foreign envoys described him as enlightened, humane, civilized. He believed he had achieved what every ruler secretly desires. Power without fear. I warned him, not because I preferred cruelty. I did not, but because I had studied men longer than he had ruled them. I told him that mercy, when predictable, becomes permission. He disagreed. He said a loved ruler would never face rebellion. Months passed. Then small things began to change. Orders were executed more slowly. Taxes arrived late. Rumors spread that he could be persuaded, pressured, delayed. A minor official ignored a direct command. The ruler forgave him. A merchant defied a regulation openly. The ruler reduced the penalty. A noble family refused a summons. The ruler negotiated. Each act of mercy was celebrated publicly and interpreted privately as weakness. Because humans are not comforted by softness in those meant to lead them, they test it. Not always, consciously, but inevitably. I watched courtiers who once bowed deeply begin to lean casually against walls in his presence. They spoke over him during councils. They debated his instructions as if they were suggestions. Nothing dramatic, just the slow erosion of invisible authority. Power rarely collapses in a single blow. It dissolves, like salt in water, until only the memory of it remains. Meanwhile, another ruler in a neighboring state governed differently. He was not cruel without reason. But when defied, he responded once, decisively, and never needed to repeat himself. He rewarded loyalty generously, punished betrayal swiftly. He did not shout. He did not threaten. He simply ensured that every action had a consequence. People called him severe. Yet his court was orderly. His laws were obeyed before they needed to be enforced. Travelers noted something curious. His subjects complained less than those of the gentle ruler, because uncertainty creates more suffering than strictness ever will. In the gentle ruler's territory, no one knew where the boundaries truly lay, so everyone pushed them, cautiously at first. Then, boldly, back in Florence, I witnessed the final humiliation. A delegation arrived demanding concessions that would have been unthinkable a year earlier. They did not request, they insisted, and the ruler, still hoping to preserve harmony, conceded. In that moment, he ceased to be a ruler. He became an administrator of other people's demands. He had not been conquered by enemies. He had been hollowed out by the need to be liked. Understand this clearly. Love is unstable currency. It fluctuates with mood, rumor, and convenience. Respect is slower to earn, but far more difficult to withdraw. This is why I wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved if one cannot be both, not because fear is noble, but because it is reliable. The gentle ruler believed kindness would protect him from hatred. Instead, it removed the only barrier preventing contempt. When his authority finally collapsed, there was no uprising, no dramatic betrayal, only a quiet shift of loyalty toward those who projected certainty. He lived the rest of his life surrounded by people who still smiled at him and no longer listened. I tell you this not to glorify harshness, but to reveal a pattern older than any throne. When boundaries dissolve, hierarchy reorganizes itself around whoever is willing to enforce them. Power does not disappear. It migrates, and it never migrates toward the agreeable. Now you understand why history remembers the formidable and forgets the gentle. But history is only the surface. To protect yourself, you must understand what drives this pattern inside the human mind. Let us descend there next. Power is not merely granted. It is perceived, it is claimed, and it is surrendered silently, long before any sword is drawn. Humans are not subtle in their measurements. They read weakness in posture, tone, and hesitation. They test boundaries in ways so small, you dismiss them until it is too late. Consider this. A colleague interrupts you repeatedly. A friend asks favors without reciprocation. A partner disregards your preferences. These are not accidents. They are experiments. Each violation asks a silent question. Will they resist? Will they assert themselves? The agreeable answer is obvious. A nod, a smile, a quiet apology. And with that answer, the tester learns a dangerous truth. Your limits are negotiable. Your discomfort is optional. Your authority is imaginary. This is not cruelty. It is evolution in social form. Humans favor those who demonstrate competence, strength, and predictability, and they quietly resent those who signal deference at every turn. Niceness is often a camouflage for fear. It reassures others that you will not challenge them. It reduces conflict today, but compounds loss tomorrow. When I observed the courts of my time, I noted the same pattern. The most exploited nobles were those who refused to offend anyone. The most betrayed ministers were those who over-explained themselves. The princes most ridiculed behind closed doors were the ones who smiled too much or forgave too often. Psychologists in your modern age call this agreeableness. It is considered virtuous. But virtue without authority is a trap. Humans respect power more than principle. They obey consequence more than promise. They fear loss more than disappointment. They follow the silent signals of control, not the overt gestures of goodwill. Predictability is a double-edged sword. If people know you will always acquiesce, they will assume you are weak. If they know you will never forgive, they may fear you. The challenge, therefore, is balance, not cruelty, not tyranny, not oppression. Awareness is the first weapon. You must see the subtle tests, the moments when someone gauges how far they can push you, the casual dismissals, the tiny interruptions, the unseen slight. Every human does this unconsciously. Every human does this inevitably. Those who fail to recognize it are already being governed by others, and those who wish to govern themselves must first govern perception. Boundaries are not optional. Strength is not negotiable. Niceness is not protection. It can soothe, it can ally, but it cannot defend. The human mind is a battlefield, and you are fighting with invisible opponents. The rules have not changed since the Renaissance. Only the stage has, from courts to conference rooms, from castles to cubicles. If you continue to wear kindness as armor, you will find it pierced, folded, and displayed as evidence of your weakness. Now that you understand the battlefield within, we shall examine how these truths manifest in the world you inhabit today. Next, I will show you how to translate this knowledge into modern survival, in work, relationships, and alliances, without losing your humanity. The lessons of history are not distant echoes. They live in the cubicles of your offices, the meeting rooms of corporations, and the quiet corners of your social circles. Observe closely the employee who always says yes. They are noticed, praised, and quietly taken for granted. The friend who never refuses a request. They are relied upon until their patience is spent. The partner who constantly explains, justifies, or apologizes. They are tolerated, but never truly respected. Humans have not changed. Only the language has. Where once a prince might have lost a throne by misplaced mercy, today you may lose influence, opportunity, or esteem. Consider the workplace. Who speaks last in a meeting? Who interrupts without consequence? Who bears the weight of others' mistakes silently? Every small act reveals the invisible hierarchy. Every acquiescence signals where authority truly lies. And every unchallenged slight reinforces a perception you may not even notice. In relationships, the principle is the same. Those who compromise constantly, without assertion, are quietly edged out of decisions. Those who give without boundary are exhausted while others prosper. Those who seek approval above clarity or truth are trapped in a cycle of manipulation. Even in casual social circles, the pattern repeats. The person who avoids discomfort at all costs, they become the default servant of the group's desires. The person who fails to assert boundaries, they are consulted last. Their opinion is devalued. Their will is ignored. Authority, whether in Renaissance courts or modern offices, is not demanded with words. It is claimed with presence, consistency, and measured firmness. Observe these subtle rules. Number 1. Who speaks last holds the unspoken authority. Number 2. Who apologizes first signals vulnerability. Number 3. Who tolerates disrespect cedes control. Number 4. Who sets the emotional tone dictates outcomes. To act wisely, you must first see these patterns. Begin small. Do not over-explain yourself. Do not justify every choice. Do not apologize for existing or for asserting what is reasonable. Instead, practice disciplined presence. Answer only when necessary. Correct only when needed. Reward selectively. Allow discomfort to be visible, so that your absence of weakness is felt. Humans unconsciously calibrate their behavior to yours. If you are always pliant, they will push. If you resist strategically, they will respect. You may think these actions are cold. They are not. They are precise. They are protective. They ensure that your kindness retains value rather than being consumed. Every modern interaction is a microcosm of the courts I studied. A promotion, a negotiation, a friendship, even a conversation over coffee. All are tests of boundaries, perception, and influence. Those who fail to recognize this remain agreeable and powerless. Those who master it navigate human nature with quiet authority. Power, in any age, belongs not to the loudest, nor the cruelest, but to the one who understands human desire, fear, and expectation, and who responds with calm, measured, unshakable presence. Discipline your behavior, observe the world as it truly is, and allow respect to follow your boundaries rather than your compliance. This is the bridge from knowledge to authority. Now that you understand the battlefield of human behavior, you must arm yourself with rules that convert insight into authority. These are not suggestions. They are laws, timeless and tested. 1. Respect before affection. Generosity is never sufficient without boundaries. Give too freely. Forgive too easily, and people will see not virtue, but opportunity. Ensure your actions earn admiration first, warmth second. Respect is durable. Affection is fleeting. The wise ruler commands attention before offering friendship. 2. Boundaries create authority. The undefined limits are invisible invitations. When you tolerate what you should not, you teach people how to treat you. State your limits silently through consistency, decisively through action. Those who respect them will follow. Those who ignore them will stumble. Authority is built on clarity, not consensus. 3. Controlled unpredictability maintains power. Predictability is comfort for the obedient and temptation for the opportunist. If you always react the same way, people will learn to anticipate and exploit you. Surprise is not chaos. It is a measure of control. Occasional, measured, deliberate unpredictability reminds others that you are not to be taken lightly. 4. Silence is stronger than explanation. Do not justify yourself to those who do not command you. Excessive explanation signals insecurity and invites further questioning. Words are currency. Spend them sparingly. The quiet strategist is feared and respected, not because of volume, but because of restraint. 5. Kindness must be selective, not constant. Mercy is not weakness when it is intentional. Generosity must serve strategy, not habit. Reward loyalty, yes, but with the understanding that it is conditional. Affection without design is hollow. Respect without structure is meaningless. 6. Observation is power. See the invisible tests. Notice the small encroachments, the micro-manipulations, the shifts in posture and tone. Awareness transforms minor slights into intelligence. Those who cannot perceive subtlety are blind to opportunity and danger. 7. Presence over persuasion. Influence is more often commanded than requested. Your actions, choices, and composure teach more than your words ever could. Do not beg for agreement. Model authority through the weight of your presence. 8. Fear without hatred. Discipline must be firm but fair. Fear maintains respect. Hatred destroys it. Correct errors decisively, not vindictively. Punish to teach, not to satiate ego. Authority survives only when tempered with reason. 9. Consistency breeds credibility. Fortune favors those whose behavior is predictable to themselves, not to others. Capricious rulers invite rebellion. Inconsistent people invite exploitation. Align your principles and actions quietly, without announcement. Let others interpret your consistency as inevitability. 10. Power is silent, not boastful. Do not advertise influence. Do not parade victories. Let the world notice through consequence, not performance. Those who shout their strength are often weakest. Those who appear calm often move mountains. These laws are not theories. They are distilled patterns from centuries of human observation. The person who follows them does not seek dominance for cruelty. They seek stability. They seek self-preservation. They seek the quiet authority that ensures their will is respected, and their voice is heard when it matters. Yet even these rules are insufficient if ignored in application. To wield them, you must understand the final danger, the illusion that knowledge alone grants immunity. Before you rush to apply these laws, heed this caution. Power without wisdom is a double-edged sword. Authority wielded without understanding will isolate you. Discipline without insight will breed resentment. And the illusion of control can be more dangerous than open weakness. Do not mistake these lessons for cruelty. Do not seek dominance for vanity. Do not impose fear for ego's sake. There is a subtle danger in misapplication. The eager disciple may become cold. The well-intentioned may become distant. The cautious may become paralyzed by fear, all because they ignored the first principle of strategy, balance. Power is not an end. It is a tool. It is the measure of influence you have over your own life, not over others for its own sake. A ruler who fears no one, yet respects reason, commands loyalty. A leader who balances firmness with selective kindness survives betrayal. A strategist who perceives human nature but maintains humanity thrives. Step too far in either direction, and you invite subtle collapse. Too soft, and you are exploited. Too harsh, and you are feared but despised. Too loud, and your authority invites challenge. Too silent, and it is ignored. Remember this. Power is like water in a vessel. Pour too quickly, and it spills. Hold it too tightly, and it evaporates. Move it with care, and it shapes the world without losing itself. Your mistakes will be noticed. Your weaknesses will be tested. And if you are careless, you will be remembered not as a strategist, but as someone who mistook insight for immunity. These laws are a map. Your actions determine the terrain. The unprepared traveler falls into every trap. The wise navigate them silently, unnoticed, and unassailable. Now, having armed you with history, psychology, and strategy, it is time for the final lesson, the truth that echoes through centuries, and will outlast every fleeting rivalry, insult, or favor. History does not remember the agreeable. It remembers those who understood human nature and acted without illusion. You have seen how kindness can be exploited, how forgiveness can be tested, how patience without boundaries invites quiet surrender. Yet you have also seen the alternative, the deliberate use of presence, restraint, and selective action. The authority that emerges when fear is tempered by respect. The quiet power that commands even without display. Remember this. To live with influence. To navigate the world without being consumed by it. You must master yourself first. Do not seek to please. Do not seek to be loved. Do not bend to comfort the egos of others at your own expense. Instead, study, observe, and act with measured intent. The world will test you. It will probe every boundary, weigh every word, measure every hesitation. And when you respond with clarity, decisiveness, and quiet authority, you will find that respect follows naturally, fear remains controlled, and the powerless remain powerless, quietly acknowledging your presence. The agreeable are forgotten. The perceptive endure. History will judge you, not by your niceness, but by your mastery of the rules that govern all who seek power. Listen carefully, remember, and let your actions speak, for approval is fleeting, but authority endures.